So what about my nicknames? Well, the one that I go by on Twitter, El Diesel, that one I got on the golf team in high school. I was basically the same size I am now, give or take. So one of the guys on the team, at first, he wanted to give me the nickname Unleaded. He thought like any gasoline-related nickname meant, you were big. Like how Shaq in the NBA is the Diesel. But when he said Unleaded, no one knew what he meant. Because we had heard Diesel, but we had never heard any other variant of that. So we all just kind of stared at him. And then he said, like Diesel. So we understood that. So it was Diesel for a while. And then in Spanish classes in high school, you got to pick, your Spanish name. So I would just use El Diesel. I preferred the Diesel, not just Diesel. And then in Spanish classes, I would pick El Diesel because it was very easy to translate. Just the turns into El, and Diesel stays the same. So it was El Diesel, and that was around the time I was playing online poker. So my online poker name became some variant of that, with or without numbers at the end. And then that was the name I used for a bunch of stuff. For YouTube, I used it on 2+2. That's why Trooper knows me as El Diesel. A little bit from 2+2 comments, and then also because I was commenting on his early videos as El Diesel. But I've had some others playing poker. Actually, just yesterday, I got the nickname Joaquin for a night. There was an English guy who said I looked like Joaquin Phoenix, and I said, from Gladiator? Because that doesn't sound right. And he said there was some recent movie, I don't remember the premise of it, but he has a beard. Wasn't the Joker movie, wasn't that movie where he falls in love with the cell phone. I don't remember the name of it, but he said there's a movie where Joaquin Phoenix has a beard, and I look just like him. So at first he just kind of mentioned that, and then he was saying how uncomfortable his chair was, but we were the last table going at Bally's, so I got one of the comfortable dealer chairs from another table and brought it over to him, and he said that was a lot better. And then just very fluidly, he said, "Oh, thanks, Joaquin." So when you use it fluidly like that, it becomes your nickname, at least for the night. When I played poker in Atlantic City in summer 2019, I got 3. The least used one was the bearded one, which isn't very creative, but I saw that guy I think twice, and both days he called me that all day. The other one was Golden State, the second one. That one was the most used. So my parents were in the Bay Area when Golden State won the finals in 2018, and they bought me like not just a Golden State hat, like a finals Golden State hat. So I was wearing it in summer 2019 up until they lost to the Raptors, because once they're not finals champions, I can't keep wearing it. But all summer leading up to that, I was wearing it. So actually the guy that we called India, that I mentioned in the first nickname video, it was really just him. He would call me Golden State. He didn't know my name. He didn't care enough to check in Bravo, but I was always wearing that hat. So he called me Golden State a lot that summer. But the best one, even though it was only used for like one time, was Jules. There was this guy I'll get to in a nickname video called Robe. He would just play in Atlantic City in a bathrobe. I mean, other clothes, but with a bathrobe on top. So we were playing at Harrah's, and he said, at one point he just stands up, and like he looks like he's deep in thought. And he says to the whole table, "Does anyone want to walk the earth with me?" So it sounded like at the end of Pulp Fiction when Samuel L. Jackson tells John Travolta he's going to quit being a gangster and that's what he's going to do. So I say to him, "Oh, just like Jules?" And he heard that I said something. It didn't really register in his mind what I meant. So he sits back down. He didn't really respond, but he sits back down, and then like 2 minutes later, it hits him that I mean the ending of Pulp Fiction. And he says, "Oh, that's why you said that, like at the end in Pulp Fiction." And I said, "Yeah." He still hasn't called me Jules yet. But we were playing in Harrah's. There were 2 tables left. I think we were both short, like we were both 5 or 6 handed. We needed a couple of guys to leave to combine tables. So I was about to leave. I think they still needed one more to go to combine tables and get down to one full game. So I'm leaving that table pretty short, but they can't break yet. So they were concerned about just not seeing flops, just a lot of chopped hands. And I said, well, guys, until one person leaves or someone new shows up, just play 1-2-5 mandatory straddle. And Robe really was like nervous about the idea of playing 1-2-5, and he goes, "Whoa, calm down, Jules." So that was the only time he called me that. We saw him a bunch of other days, but he didn't call me it earlier when we were actually talking about Pulp Fiction, but it was still in his mind. So when I said that about the straddle, and he had a quick response in his mind, I was Jules to him for that night.